The stars of Division II football take the stage today in Mankato, Minnesota, with the winner moving on to play for the national championship. Minnesota State plays host to Concord University next. The NCAA Division II Football Championship is brought to you by Northwestern Mutual. It is an unusually mild December afternoon in the state of Minnesota. Mankato, the setting in Blakesley Stadium, as the Minnesota State Mavericks get set to take on the Concord out of the Mountain East. As we take a look at the Division II championship brackets, we are down to the remaining four. Ironically, the remaining two unbeaten teams colliding in this semifinal. The winner marches in to next Saturday's championship in Kansas City, Kansas. And with that, hi everybody, Sean Kinney alongside former NFL defensive back Jay Taylor. Great to have you with us. This Mountain Lion program is in uncharted territory. They have never been this far in the playoffs. In fact, they had never won a playoff game until this year, and they've done it with a high-powered offense. Conversely, for Minnesota State, it's all about experience. They were in this exact same spot 2 years ago, lost to Valdosta, but they feel they have a championship-caliber defense this year.
Yeah, and you're looking at a team that they say, yeah, we're new here, but we beat two teams that we weren't supposed to beat because we feel we're a team of destiny. But you look at Mankato, the big thing for them is saying, you know what, I think we can get it done, mainly because we have a bunch of seniors that are determined to get themselves to a championship game.
You take a look at these two keys as they plan for success today, and it all starts with the offensive side of the football with the Mountain Lions. They can put up points with the best of them. 580 points on way to a perfect season. Victories against Westchester and Bloomsburg. Minnesota State over 550 points offense this year, a perfect season. Victories against the Gorillas and conference rival Minnesota Duluth. This game will feature a pair of All-Americans, one on each side. Let's start with the Mountain Lions, and it all starts offensively with Calvin Jones.
Yeah, the way they run the ball, they need his explosive power. 1,600 yards, 6.7 yards a touch. The big difference about it, though, is the long run, 87 yards. And then you're looking at Josh Gordon, big play potential. He creates havoc in the backfield, 16.5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles. And that's what worries a lot of coaches. He gets in the backfield, creates problems.
Minnesota State, no stranger to the setting. Can't say that, though, for the Mountain Lions and their young coach, Garen Justice, in his fourth year. What a job he has done. The Mountain East Conference Coach of the Year, 35 victories, and as we mentioned, in uncharted territory for the first time. On the opposite sideline, Todd Hoffner is back, patrolling the sidelines for the Mavericks in his fifth season. It has been a rough and turbulent 2 years, but what a climax possibly and a finish for him, and we'll have more on that as we go deeper into this football game. Minnesota State was here 2 years ago, lost to Valdosta State. The Mountain Lions all the way from Athens, West Virginia, and we are ready to go. Concord will get the football first, and on the return, this is Tico Henderson, and he blew a wheel right out of the gate. So the Mountain Lions will be deep in the shadows of their own end. You talk about improvement with this team. It all started at quarterback, Brian Novak, the redshirt sophomore out of College Park, Maryland. Tough season a year ago, but he has learned from his mistakes. He has improved dramatically throughout the course of the year and has put up big-time numbers, over 3,500 yards this season, 33 touchdowns for the talented gunslinger out of College Park. And on first down, he's going to go to the air, and a diving attempt falls incomplete. T.J. Smith, his intended target. Taking a look at today's impact players offensively, it all starts with the center, Rustin Mayorga. He's not big, but he's athletic, a key area as he matches up against the larger Minnesota State defensive line. The secondary led by Nathan Hancock, the Maverick leading the secondary with interceptions. He is a 3-year player. They come out throwing. This time it is a catch, and this should be good enough for a first down. Hauling the ball in, Jermeal Doubts. Typically you get to Mankato this time of the year and you're looking at below freezing temperatures, maybe a few inches of snow. Not the case. 49 degrees, a balmy 49. The wind from the south at 13, no precipitation anticipated today. On first down, we'll get our first look at the All-American Jones over the left side as he gets 3, maybe 4 yards.
Yeah, you're looking at a team here that isn't fazed by playing against tough defenses. They've gone through the playoffs and have had defenses that have not given up more than 14, 15 points a game, and they scored 28, 32 points on them. So as we can see on this first drive, they have no problem moving the ball.
Novak from the gun. They bring some pressure on the edge, and he dumps it out to Jones out of the backfield, and he takes it to the 41-yard line. 19 yards, good recognition by Novak.
You're going to see just a simple flare to the running back as he pulls the defense up, gets the ball out, and then Calvin Jones doing the rest with his legs, not looking to go out of bounds, using this fast-paced offense to get the tempo going, get the defense on their heels.
They don't use Jones all that often as a receiver, only his 9th catch of the year. He'll get the call on the ground. Nice piece of running, patient running by Jones as he zigzags up to the 46-yard line, brought down by Barry Ballinger.
They run a spread type of running game. Think about the Denver Broncos back in the day, the Houston Texans, that kind of stretch running. They use these athletic offensive linemen to open holes up to allow that running back to get positive yards. As you can see, they're getting positive yards on first down.
It is an undersized but experienced and athletic offensive line. On second down, the change of pace back is Ben Nestor. Nestor, more of a grinder, plows ahead for 2 hard-earned yards.
See the line of scrimmage right now. They're moving, they're pushing, they're playing right now on Mankato's side of the ball. They're going to stop there, but in order for this defense to slow this offense down, they got to win on first down, and they have to win that line of scrimmage battle.
The game's first third down, and a timeout taken by the Mavericks. So Minnesota State using an early timeout on this opening drive, and a blending of the arm of Novak and the running of Calvin Jones. That's been the 1-2 punch that has carried this program into the playoffs and the type of success that they're enjoying this year.
And I think it's a good call by defense coordinator Jake Dickhart. Your defense is reeling a little bit right now. That fast-paced offense is getting on the hills. They've been able to gash you on a couple runs and pass plays. So you want to get everybody settled down because this is a huge third down conversion. That's one of the issues that Concord has had.
Minnesota State, the second largest public school here in Minnesota. You see the enrollment, over 15,000, founded back in 1868, part of the Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference. Our very own colleague Brad Nessler started his roots right here in Mankato. Men's hockey team rocking and rolling this year, just like the football program. Third down, little dump off, and it's nearly intercepted. Tyler Henderson had his hands on it, the pass a bit behind Jones, and the Mountain Lions forced to punt.
They had the play that they wanted. Jones just releases. He could have been running for that first down, but the ball just slightly behind, mainly because the pressure coming in from the front four.
So a couple of first downs, and that is it on the opening drive. Garrett Lee on the punt. Minnesota State with 10 guys on the line of scrimmage. Here they come, and the left-footed kicker gets it away. It's a shallow end-over-end kick. And this one will roll to the 16-yard line. 36-yard punt by the redshirt freshman Garrett Lee. The Mountain Lions, located in scenic Athens, West Virginia, founded back in 1872, founded by the veterans of the Union and Confederacy armies after the Civil War, and that's how they came up with the name. And you see what it stands for: harmony and sweet fellowship.
Well, that's what this team is hoping between their offense, defense, and special teams, to have that harmony to get out with a victory today.
So we will get our first look at the Minnesota State offense, and right out of the gate, somebody flinching up front. This will cost the Mavericks 5 yards.
Offense number 76, 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's Herschel Prater, the left guard. You know, so much has been made of the Minnesota State defense, and rightfully so, but this offense has put up big-time numbers as well, averaging 42 points per game. 457 yards a contest, and they can beat you both ways. You can throw the football and run it with this guy, Connor Thomas. Thomas, a 5'11 redshirt junior, moving his way up through the rushing yard ranks here at the school. In fact, two of the top 3 career rushing leaders in uniform today for Minnesota State. Andy Pfeiffer, who's a little banged up, the current leader of this program, and then Thomas in that number 3 spot. So it's quite a 1-2 punch as you get a good look at Ricky Lloyd. Southern Mississippi transfer, his first season here in Mankato, and he's kind of provided the missing piece this year for the Mavericks. Thomas over the left side, pushes ahead past the 15, up near the 17-yard line.
Yeah, you're going to see a matchup here of size versus speed. Mankato with the size, simple handoff, just man-on-man blowing up the hole there, just trying to get positive yards. But this defense, they're undersized, but they play quick. As you notice, they rally around the ball.
Gary Saylor, one of those hard-nosed linebackers, working his way through the ranks. Patient player waiting for his opportunity, and he's put forth his best season. Third down. Time for Lloyd. He'll dump it on a crossing pattern. Buford with the catch. He turns on the Jets, and a first down all the way out to the 43-yard line.
Big play. They're converting over 40% on third down for the season. You're seeing why. Just a simple crossing route, but if they pull those linebackers out, allows the receiver there, Buford, their leader, with 15 touchdowns. You can see that the ability of this offense, they pound you, spread you off. Third and long was not a big concern, but they would like to get more positive yards on first down.
See the season that Buford enjoyed this year, close to 1,000 yards in his first year with Minnesota State. They run the jet sweep to Kyle Riggett, trying to get to the corner, and he is tracked down. Good pursuit by Derek Johnson. There is a marker down as well.
They'd like for this not to be on the offense. That's a good first down play. Get you 5-6 yards.
During the play, number 52 of the defense lost his helmet and continued to play. By rule, that is a personal foul on the defense. However, he was also engaged by number 8 of the offense, which is also a personal foul. Those penalties offset. Replay, first down.
Keith Ferguson lost his lid and continued to play, but he was engaged while he was doing so, so you heard the explanation.
Right, and you know, that's just pure tenacity as a player. No fear. It's not as cold as it normally is around here, but you see these kids, they know you win, you keep going, you lose, you go home.
Mountain Lions shifting on the defensive line. Quick hitch pattern caught by Buford. He is tackled immediately, but it's a 7-yard gain. Able to pick on the freshman Jeremiah Johnson.
They got exactly that same positive yards back on first down. When you can get anywhere from 5 to 6 yards on first down, it really opens up your playbook, because now, as you can see, it's second and short defensively. You're not sure what they're going to do. Run, pass, everything is open too.
Good-looking drive for Minnesota State. The Mavericks have taken it on to the Mountain Lions side. At the 49-yard line, they will go straight up the middle with it. Tough churning for Thomas. Looks like he'll be about a half a yard shy of the first down. Gang tackling for the Mountain Lions.
And that's how they have to do it. They're undersized here, but look at that. Point of contact, no drive. The Concord defense is keeping that front, winning that line of scrimmage battle, and that's what's crucial in the weather like this. We got some wind going as the game progresses. It's probably going to get a little bit cooler, a little bit more windier, and you got to win that line of scrimmage. Now they're looking at third and short.
You mentioned winning the line of scrimmage. Darrell Johnson, number 99, he's the plugger up front. He really is the lone big guy in the middle for this defense. Third and short, Thomas will pick up the first down. Squared up the shoulder pads, lowered the boot. Ferguson in on the stop, but it's a third down conversion. Now 2 for 2 on this opening drive.
And that's one of the strengths for Mankato. They're over 40% on third down conversions. and that's because they get themselves in position. We saw the first one was 3rd and long, got the pass going, but when you're in 3rd and short, it really gives that flexibility to run short routes like they just did and dive right behind the center to get positive yards.
Quick moving first quarter. Play fake. Lloyd wanted the home run. Has time. Now he zips it down the seam. Incomplete. Good coverage on the play. It was Mike Carey, the veteran of the secondary, all over Buford.
He definitely was all over him. I'm not sure how much of that could have been pass interference. You've seen he's waiting for him to come open at that last second. He just tripped over his feet. That kind of what happens a little bit. The wind is blowing from right to left a little bit. The ball sailed. If it was a little bit closer, they may have called a penalty on that.
Come on, Jay. As a former cornerback, that's a good play right there, isn't it?
Slightly.
Second down give. Look at the cut, the misdirection by Thomas. One thing watching Connor Thomas on film this week, he finishes his runs.
And he's patient. Watch this. He starts forward, cuts back, and then drives hard. That's what you want out of your running backs. Put that foot down, make a move, but be patient. It's almost like making soup. You got to let it develop a little bit more. And as the running game transpires in the course of a game, seams tend to open up front side, back side. And the good running backs know how to be patient and find those seams.
6 100-yard rushing games this year for Thomas, and he's expected to see a lot of the carries today. Andy Pfeiffer, a question mark, with a lower leg injury, so it's pretty much been all Thomas on this opening drive. Ricky Lloyd's going to run with it. He'll pick up the first down. Pounding their way against this Mountain Lion defense. Another first down for Minnesota State. As we take a look at the impact players, let's start with the Mavericks.
Well, as you look at that, crucial safety coming down, making plays. And then Buford, the receiver, we saw a couple catches already, what he's able to do. Derek Johnson on the other side, he's going to have to cover and make some plays. And then, as we talked about, the defensive line, controlling the line of scrimmage, putting pressure on the quarterback.
Johnson leads the secondary with 7 interceptions. Lloyd throws, and he's right on the money again. Buford with the catch, twirled out of bounds near the 20.
You're looking at a kid right there that understands now they're going a little fast pace. Getting this defense, they feel they're on their heels. That's always an advantage for the offense when you go no huddle.
Just outside the red zone from the shotgun. Lloyd's going to move the pocket, rolls left, could run if he wants. Instead, he settles underneath, and it's dropped, incomplete. He was looking for Buford again.
Lloyd's probably wishing he would have ran. Watch this. Look at all that open space. He could have took off, got positive yards. That's a little bit tough of a catch when your momentum is taking you to your right and the ball's backwards toward your left. Kind of hard, but you can see why Ricky Lloyd has been so dynamic in this offense. Very accurate with the ball, inside the pocket and out.
Played 3 years with Southern Mississippi. One of those years he was injured, took a red shirt in 2011. Wanted to find a program where he could play. Has a man wide open, the tight end, touchdown, Minnesota State, Jeff Burns.
Nice play action, pulls the defense up, C30 release. Defense doesn't stay on it because they come up for the play fake. And a nice touchdown you can see as Gary Saylor's trying to chase him, but he knows he's beat. Nice opening drive for Mankato.
Ricky Lloyd with his 17th touchdown pass of the season. Jeff Burns, the senior tight end, he was part of that semifinal run 2 years ago. One of the more experienced players on this team, and he comes up with the game's first points.
12 players on the field. Defense, half the distance to the goal. We'll replay the try.
So the Mountain Lions get caught with 12 on the field. Let's see if Minnesota State goes for 2 here.
It looks like they might be doing it. You get half a yard distance closer. The way your offense has been ticking, I think it's a good play. Points at a premium. If you can put one extra more than the opponent, that can help you towards the end of the game.
They'll bring in their goal line set, Nicholas Coy. He's a 300-pound junior out of St. Paul Park, along with the tight end Birds. This to give Minnesota State 8. They go to Thomas, and he goes in virtually untouched. And the Mavericks are off and running here in Mankato. Ricky Lloyd, 21-yard strike. It's Minnesota State on top with the opening salvo. This year, but number 5 was a big one in the spotlight of the Division II semifinal. 21-yard strike caps off a 12-play, 84-yard drive for the Mavericks. And they take advantage of the Mountain Lion penalty, and they get the 2-point conversion. So an 8-0 early lead for Minnesota State. Henderson takes it 4 yards deep in the end zone. They love their football here in Mankato. Into the semifinals for the second time in the last 3 years. On first down, the Mountain Lions trying to get Calvin Jones going, and he is stood up at the line of scrimmage, nowhere to go. Jordan Campbell, one of the inside linebackers, the first to greet him. There's a look at the All-American Josh Gordon.
And he is going to be a force to reckon with. Kind of that hybrid player, if you think about NFL, where they take a lot of defensive linemen and make them outside linebackers, using his speed and agility to get in the backfield.
Jones grinds out a yard, still trying that left side, turns on the speed. Not a lot of daylight, but he made the most of it, pushed out of bounds at the 31.
Right, we just talked about Joshua Gordon. Watch him get washed up the field by Paul Smith, and in doing so, opens up that lane and missed tackle, and you're seeing the speed of Jones able to take that into a positive game, making it 3rd and short.
Novak hit as he throws, back shoulder throw, and it's intercepted. Nathan Hancock, one of our impact players, the senior, with the pick.
The ball was thrown into the wind. He's trying to get it. He gets hit as the ball's released. The ball gets caught up in the wind. And right there, Nathan Hancock, opportunistic, adding to his interception total. And that's one thing they like about this safety. He roams the field sideline to sideline. If you don't throw a perfect ball, he seems to be there to make you pay for it.
This is a defense that created 4 turnovers last week in the pounding of Duluth. Their 5th interception in their last 6 games, and Hancock has been the main guy back into that secondary. Minnesota State, first down. Thomas trying to get to the corner. Shake and bake move, and he gets 4. Nice job that time by Johnson, the quarterback, just to slow him down. It looked like he might have an alley there.
Sure did. And look at the feet and looseness of Connor Thomas. I mean, he saw that he really couldn't get outside, but he sold it. He made the DB that think he wanted to go outside, allowed him to put that foot down, and again to get 4 or 5 yards on first down. That is a dream for offense and offensive line to be able to get positive yards like that on first down.
6 100-yard rushing games this year for Thomas. 4th in the career rushing charts at the school. This play blown up. Look at the athleticism of Ricky Lloyd. He's able to turn a negative play into a positive. He was dead in the water. Keith Ferguson had him wrapped up, but Lloyd able to escape and get away.
That's a frustrating thing for a defense. You call the right play. Ferguson gets in the backfield, does not make the play. Him and Cummings both had an opportunity to turn that into a negative, and all Lloyd did was make it a positive.
Minnesota State has been perfect on 3rd down in this opening quarter. 3rd and 3. They'll put 2 receivers split to the bottom. Strong start for Ricky Lloyd in this one. He's going to go to the air, has a pocket, has a drag route, caught. The tight end, Bryce Duncan, using the tight ends early.
Yep, and they've clearly seen something in regards to 3rd down and crossing routes. They see that there's openings underneath, and they want to let their players get the ball and run. That's one reason why they've converted over 40% for the season. They do a good job of game planning, finding where the holes are, allowing their skilled players to make plays.
Duncan, one of those guys, he walked on to the program. He earned a scholarship after his freshman year. Gained about 30 pounds upon arrival in Mankato, has developed into a terrific tight end. Series of play fakes down the seam. Buford had a step, but Lloyd overshot him.
This offensive line is giving Ricky Lloyd all kinds of time for this play action play. Look at this, a fake run, fake reverse, and now you had a post corner route coming from the bottom of your screen, just slightly overthrown it. Look at, watch what he does. He fakes it, makes you think he's going to the corner route, runs that post. But again, they're going with the wind. As we can see, a couple of these throws have sailed, just like the interception got caught in the wind.
The weather playing a factor like it typically does here in Minnesota. Thomas, hard yards, banging off white defenders. Picks up 6, setting up another third down.
Right now, they went right at Darrell Johnson on that play. And you can see what we're talking about the flags. The wind is blowing, and Mankato is going with the wind. Both of his long throws have sailed on him. So as this game progresses, especially in the second half, fourth quarter, this would be a huge factor.
Evan Rudd has checked in, a world-class sprinter on this track team. We'll have to wait, though. Timeout taken. 2:47 to go here in Mankato. Mavericks on the march. You talk about a busy day here in Mankato. Earlier this morning, they had commencement ceremonies at Minnesota State. Darius Clare, the backup tight end, and then the two starters on the offensive line, Chris Reed and Josh Meeker, changing uniforms on the fly. A little Superman action today. From the cape and gowns to the football unis, and two key cogs in an offensive line as Minnesota State improves to 6 for 6 on third downs.
Well, there's one of them right there. Big Chris Reed pulling on that play. It's a simple just quarterback run. And then there's Darius Clare getting in, and when he can, the big receiver slash tight end. But what I love most is right there, Josh Meeker, a former safety when he got recruited. That means he likes a few biscuits right there because he blew up.
Meeker and Reed, part of 4 linemen from the state of Nebraska, all from Omaha. That's the unique story. You have Chris Reed at left tackle, Josh Meeker the center, and then Max Hoffmeister at right tackle, and Gary Hyatt, who's normally the starter at right guard. He's out with an injury. All 4 of those guys arrived here in Mankato the same year. Best of friends. They were rivals in high school, but they have been the offensive line the past 3 years. Lloyd, look at the time. The line giving him all sorts of time to choose. Good open field tackle by Michon Cummings as Thomas makes the catch.
I can't speak enough about Ricky Lloyd's patience. Not trying to force the ball. Look at his progression. Doesn't play fake. 1 isn't open. 2 isn't open. 3 isn't open. Goes to the release route right there. That is what you want out of a quarterback. Go through your progressions. See who's open and out there. Just check it off. Get positive yards.
See the strong start for the Southern Mississippi quarterback, Lloyd. 7 of 10, the 81 yards and the touchdown to Burns. For the very first time, Minnesota State inside the red zone, and a whistle blows the play dead. Like movement up front.
For the snap infraction. Offense number 63, 5-yard penalty, second down.
He didn't meant to say number 64 with Meeker there.
Yep, first mental mistake for this offense, kind of putting themselves back. Other than that, they've been playing very well. They understand they have the size and strength versus the speed on the other side, and they're going to use it to their advantage, especially with the way the wind is blowing.
Every statistical category in the opening 15 minutes being dominated by the purple. Lloyd's going to throw on 2nd and long. Pocket collapses, trying to improvise, dodging bullets, and Lloyd able to scrape back up near the line of scrimmage. Pursuit by Austin Dotson, the most physical linebacker of this Mountain Lion Corps.
That's what you call a coverage sack. Nobody was open. It goes through the progression. Nothing's there. Tries to climb the pocket. Concord did a good job of forcing that pocket up where he didn't have much room. And this is what your quarterback can do for you. He is a dual threat. He's not as efficient runner as the backup quarterback, but he can still get it done.
Yeah, it's been a 2-quarterback system this year with Nick Perocchini. Perocchini still nursing an ankle injury, so it's been all Lloyd in this first quarter. Play clock to 2. Lloyd takes the snap. He's firing for the end zone. Riggett's open. Touchdown, Mavericks.
Riggett says, we have a little speed on our side as well. He's lined up in a slot position, runs a corner route. Lloyd saw it right away, saw the mismatch, put the ball where only his receiver can get it, caught it nice, brought it into his body, protected it. Quick score, another third long. So far, they've been 100% on third down conversions.
7 for 7 on third downs. 20-yard touchdown pass, number 2 for Ricky Lloyd in this opening quarter. And it is all Minnesota State. 15-0 Mavericks.
Lloyd, you can see it right off the way. He just wanted to get back, 3-step, get that foot set, and just put it out there, give his receiver a shot. Riggett did everything he was supposed to do, lined up. They're just taking advantage of this defense right now. Got them on their heels because of the way they're able to run the ball. They're having to try to put more pressure, some more man-to-man. But right now, as we can see, there's no answer. They can't stop this Mankato offense right now.
So the interception by Hancock gives the Mavericks 6 as Ricky Lloyd orchestrates a 10-play, 56-yard drive. And some concern right now for Garen Justice, young head coach, former Mountaineer, an offensive lineman in his day at West Virginia. And his team under the gun early, a long way from home this afternoon.
They surely are. You look at the first drive when they came out on the field, they were moving pretty well. They got to that third down. Their third down conversion percentage has not been that great this year. They've been hovering right around the 30% range. And we saw it, we're seeing it a bit today. That's the first series, then the second series with the turnover.
Tico Henderson from the goal line. Henderson keeps his balance. Solid return as he takes it out to the 28-yard line. First 15 minutes dominated by Minnesota State. We talked about their experience. Ricky Lloyd, 2 touchdown passes. Mavericks on top early. The NCAA Division II Football Championship is brought to you by Northwestern Mutual. Quarter number 2 on a mild afternoon here in Mankato, Minnesota. Division II semifinal. Not much offense in the first 15 for the Mountain Lions, a unit that was among the nation's best, 44 points per game, 4th best in the country, over 490 yards per game, bottled up to just 46 in that first quarter.
It says a lot about Mankato's defense and what they bring to the table.
Play fake by Novak, under pressure, floats incomplete. He felt the heat that time. Josh Gordon.
You know, we were told in our coaches' meetings about their strength and what they feel like. Even though we go against big teams, we're fast. How can they handle our speed? We see the speed of Concord out here. We see a lot of what they do. But what's happening right now is because they're behind, you are going into the wind. Now the wind's at your back. It's an adjustment these quarterbacks are having to make. And when you can get some type of pressure where they can't set their feet, it makes it difficult to throw.
Empty set, 5 receivers. The Mavericks rush 3. Novak's going to try to pick up the first down with his feet, and he does. Able to jump ahead. First down yardage brought down by Parizo.
Yep, simple 3-man pressure. And what a quarterback knows, that means 8 drops. So that's room to run. He does run, gets their first third down conversion.
Novak does not run a lot. Smart kid. He's the son of a football coach, so you know he's going to be a film guru, one of those guys that understands the game, understands his role. And that was the big thing last year as a freshman. he threw a number of interceptions trying to make the play, and the biggest difference from last year to this year for Brian Novak has been his decision making.
And that's what you want out of your quarterback. They have to be smart. They have to protect the ball. It's like a banker. When you give them your money, you want them to keep it safe. That's exactly what he learned this season from last season.
2nd down and 9. Novak a play fake, setting up a home run ball deep downfield, looking for the fullback, and Hancock nearly had number 2. He doesn't drop too many of those. Novak looking for Workinger.
And that's one of those plays defensively. He thought he had it there, and you can see Hancock just good eye vision. That's a catch he should have had. He tried to nestle that instead of going up with his hands. As a DB, you're taught, try to get it at his highest point. If he goes up and catches it with his fingers and thumbs together, instead of trying to cradle it in his body, I believe he gets off the field with his 2nd interception.
Keep an eye on number 5, the slot, TJ Smith. They throw near side. Wide open was Tico Henderson, and Novak with an errant throw, and that's a costly miss as it sends the Mountain Lion punting unit back onto the field.
They definitely had the play dialed up that they wanted. They had the open receiver. They had enough space for the 1st down. What was missing is the accuracy that we talked about, but I think partially it's because he's a bit flustered. The pressure's coming on him. And like we talked about before, this wind, which you can't really see on TV, plays dividends in how the ball comes out of your hand and travels.
Austin Ryder awaiting the kick from the left-footed Garrett Lee. Good high spiraling kick inside the 5, and the Mountain Lions unable to get to it. So Minnesota State, that wind does not slow them down. They're on top here in Mankato. A good look at Todd Hoffner, who is back as the coach here at Minnesota State. It has been a turbulent 2 years. You look at the timeline, you rewind August 2012. He turned in a broken BlackBerry phone. A technician discovered some brief videos of his children after they had taken a bath. The AD, Kevin Buseman, placed him on administrative leave. 4 days later, he was charged with 2 felonies. However, 3 months later, a judge dismissed the charges, describing them as kids simply being playful and silly, a father having fun with his children. So the judge dismissed it less than 3 months later. However, he was placed on 20 days of unpaid suspension and then reassigned to a newly created administrative role. And then last May of 2013, he was fired for reasons undisclosed. The case went to an arbitrator, and then in April of 2014, an arbitrator ordered Minnesota State to repay Hoffner with interest going back to the date of the firing, and then they offered him to reinstate Hoffner as well, or pay the difference in salary. In the unique situation with Hoffner, he had been hired in late January to take over the program at Minot State. He elected to come back here to Minnesota State. He was exonerated and vindicated in the end. And you talk about a turbulent 2 years. We asked him, why come back? And he said, for those 2 reasons, and his family had put roots down here in the Mankato area. And you talk about a turbulent journey, but in the end, with what he has overcome, cleared of all charges, of all wrongdoing, and now a chance to take this program into the national championship for the first time in school history.
And I think that's an exclamation point that this team is focused on, like we talked about in the open, these seniors. That is their destiny. That's what they want to get done. And they feel him as their coach because he recruited all these kids. He feels that he's the one that can get them there.
You know, his first day back, the players actually boycotted the practice. They were wanting Aaron Keene, who was the interim coach for 2 years, to stay in there, but that only took 24 hours. He called a coaches and players meeting the very next day. He met with every single player, every single guy on the roster, answered any questions they had. All they wanted to know was the information that he presented. Once they found out, they were all aboard and they were happy to have their coach back.
Yeah, and you can tell by how the season has transpired. On top of that, just the way that these guys have come together. When you have a coach that will take that type of ownership to sit down with each and every player and have a conversation, that shows you how much he cares.
3rd down and 9 for the Mavericks. Let's see if the Mountain Lions can dial up a stop. They need one. They rush only 3. Lloyd floats. Lloyd still looking downfield, and he's right on target. Buford, another catch. What a throw by Ricky Lloyd. He did not have much of a window.
Lloyd is showing his true potential and accuracy. Able to get out of the pocket. Look at his eyes stay downfield. Then he finds the open receiver, puts it over the defensive player, close to the sideline, not allowing the other defender to come in to make an interception. Great play today so far by Ricky Lloyd.
4 catches for Dorian Buford. Lloyd on a quick screen. Buford has number 5, and he turns on the wheels. Up ahead to the 29. 17 more yards for Dorian Buford, the former first-team All-Missouri Valley Football Conference player.
You just get the ball out to your playmakers and let them make plays. These receivers block for each other because they know that at some point they will get the ball as well. This offense right now is humming on all cylinders, just like you had mentioned earlier in the game. They've put up a lot of record-setting yardage and points, and we're getting a taste why.
Doing it through the air on this drive. They've taken it to the Mountain Lion 29-yard line. They're going to stick with the hot hand, play fake, the throw to the tight end, nearly intercepted. There was the turnover that the Lions so desperately needed. Corey Robbins nearly got his hands on the pick.
That was one he would love to have back. He had the open guy, but he's throwing into the wind, so it floats up a little bit. Defender does a good job of coming back for it, and you're seeing the big tight end, Bryce Duncan, fighting as a defender now to make sure that the interception does not happen.
Lloyd on a design keeper over the right side. Shakes free of one, shakes free of a second. Finally, Dotson shoulders him out. Take a look at this balanced attack. Offensively, 42 points per game, second in the Northern Sun Conference this year. The points allowed is the number that jumps out at me. In this modern era of football with the spread offense, is to hold the opposition to 12 per game. You just don't see that too often.
Right, and what we're seeing is this defense being so dominant. Concord, we mentioned in the open the fact that they had 2 teams in the top 10 in points allowed, and they scored 28 and 30s, low 30s points on them. They're able to get those type of points, but right now, they're not able to move the ball much at all, and mainly because that defense has been on the field so long, they're getting tired. This offense, they're doing truly what every coach loves to do, a balanced attack. I'm going to run the ball, I'm going to pass the ball, and you have to try to figure out what's coming next.
This experienced offensive line is pounding away. Reed, Prater, Meeker, Gary Hyatt. He was a question mark. He's in there at right guard, and Hoffmeister, the 4 Omaha guys. 1st and 10 inside the red zone. This is Connor Thomas. Thomas, not much. He gets 3. Brought down by Urban Moore.
You can see right now just the look on some of the guys' faces as they keep walking back. I always like to equate certain things to boxing. It's like being in a boxing match. You jab, you jab, you jab. After a while, that jab starts to hurt the person more and more. So then all of a sudden come to the 12th round, when you come with the right hook, they don't see it coming. And that's what this offensive line is doing right now. They're just jabbing that defensive front.
Lloyd looking left all the way. Dodges a couple of defenders, has a huge opening up the middle. He pays the price, took a pretty vicious shot from the backside. But he will scramble for first down yardage, and they cannot corral Ricky Lloyd.
I want you to look at big 99 Daryl Johnson following this play, but look at him. Nothing's there. He reaches progression. Offensive line gives him time. Look, now he scrambles and runs, tries to make more than he should. Daryl Johnson got a piece of him. The one thing that I would caution Ricky on, as well as he's playing, slide, go down. You don't need to do more than what you've been doing. You can see he's trying to shake it off a little bit right now.
Shake off the effects of the 320-pound sophomore Daryl Johnson, who had a full head of steam when he collided with the quarterback. Play fake on the jet sweep. They throw it underneath. Thomas makes the catch, keeps his balance, lunges for the pylon. Touchdown.
Another bootleg action, pressure gets to him. Watch the tenacity of Connor Thomas, not to be denied. He reaches that ball out, dives for it. Great play by Connor Thomas. We're seeing true magic right now out of this offense. They're doing whatever they want to do, how they want to do it.
Good job, bud.
Alden Hafar with the point after. Ricky Lloyd, 3 touchdown passes in this first half. Usually Connor Thomas runs them in. This time showing his hands, some speed, and some power. The 2014 NCAA Division I Football Championship continues next weekend with semifinal action on December 19th and 20th. Both games will be on the Watch ESPN app. For more information, go to ncaa.com, the official online home for all 89 NCAA championships. Minnesota State, Colin Thomas hoping to punch their ticket to next weekend's Division II championship. Kansas City, Kansas, and right now well on their way, 22-0, Mavericks on top. And if you're the Mountain Lions from Athens, West Virginia right now, this is a team that has just blossomed throughout the course of the year on special teams. Do they ever need a special teams moment right now?
They surely do. We saw what happened in the opening kick where he stumbled. The second one got a good return, got them out towards the 30 positive yards to start with. This is the type of situation you know that they're kicking into the wind. You need to play up a little bit, take advantage of it, see if you can get a starting point at the 40 or 50-yard line.
13 first downs for Minnesota State, 3 for the Mountain Lions in this first half. And we talked about it during the opening. This Minnesota State defense, as good as they come, and they thought this was the biggest difference from the 2012 team that lost to Valdosta, who, you know, ironically is pretty similar to what the Mountain Lions bring to the table. They were a fast unit that year, a lot of skill set on the edge with the receivers, explosive tailback. Minnesota State could not keep up with them, but it's a different year, a different team. Shallow kick, and it's bobbled. And the Mountain Lions fortunate to get on it. Ben Nestor had a tough time with that shallow kick.
We just kind of talked about it. I said you're kicking into the wind. You should need to watch out. And you can see right there, that's when everybody has to move up. The up back makes it tough. And it isn't that he can't catch the ball, but think about when you watch baseball and an outfielder maybe can't judge the ball with the sunlight and everything else. That wind, you never know how much it's pushing. And as we saw right there, he thought he was underneath it, and he clearly wasn't.
No offensive production whatsoever, thanks to the big, aggressive, and fast Maverick defense. Novak will try to get Calvin Jones going, and there is just no room whatsoever. Alex Vesper, the reserve down tackle, with the penetration.
Yeah, and right there, Joshua Gordon coming from behind to finish that up. They've done an excellent job of the point of attack, but taking away the cutback lanes. This running back Jones has good vision. You don't get 1,600 yards just by running one way, but they're closing the doors. They're not giving him an opportunity to bust out.
That's a backwards pass, and they will throw deep downfield. Had a man open and some contact, and here come the markers. He had TJ Smith. That was Dalton Brendo, the tight end, who threw the second pass. So reaching into the bag of tricks here to try to light a spark with this Mountain Lion offense.
Pass interference. Defense, number 17. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Well, this is where DBs get in trouble. You are secondary. You come up late for a run play. You have no business sticking your nose up there. You can see in the corner of your screen, he's running because he realized he was beat. He was watching the backfield instead of looking at his receiver. If you just watch your receiver, he will always take you where you need to go. Luckily, this isn't the NFL, and it was only a 15-yard penalty instead of a spot foul penalty.
Brendo, who let that one fly, they've used him a few times this year in the bag of tricks throwing the football. Novak, a play fake, had time initially, and now he's trapped and dropped. Gordon and Henderson both getting their hands on Brian Novak.
Henderson, 6'3", 235, Sam linebacker, good speed, long arms, was able to corral the quarterback when he thought he can get away to grab that jersey. Look at them locks right there. That's how he stays warm when it gets cold out there.
He's a great story. Local kid. He's been the team's leading tackler the last 2 years. Part of the 2008 4A state championship for Mankato West High School. Helped West win a Big 9 conference title in 09 and 2010. The son of a Minnesota State graduate. Mavericks have been a big part of his family lines. They hand it off, stretching to the near side is Jones, and Henderson rides him out of bounds, along with Chris Fleigel.
What you're seeing is the best way to negate speed of an opposing team is to make them go east and west. Don't let them go north and south. If you can make somebody run sideline to sideline, you have every opportunity of closing on that play.
Novak hit as he throws, caught, but shy of the first down. Davon McGill with the catch. Henderson another stop. And is this 4-down territory for Garin Justice?
You know, at this point in time of the game, you still have opportunities, but I would go for it. I mean, you're already down. They're going to get the ball first in the second half, so you might as well take a shot. You open up the field a little bit, stretch them out, see what you can get done.
Blakesley Stadium has been tough on the opposition, making some noise. Novak, deep down the middle, receiver has a step, and it's caught. Right on cue, Jermeel Dowse, the big play target, pulls it in, and a little life for the Mountain Lions.
They caught the defense. You go no back, stretch them out, seam routes, right on the top of your screen. He gets the DB. And you can see right there at the last second, the DB caught up to him, but it was, by that point it was too late. He got behind him. Good drive. I like the no huddle. Keep it going. See if you can get in the end zone.
Dowse coming off a career-high 7 catches a week ago.
The previous play was that the runner was down before the ball came loose. That play is under further review.
So they'll take a second look at it. I don't think anything's going to change here. Clearly it looked like Jermeel Dowse had control when he hit the turf as we take another look at it.
Yeah, that angle doesn't show much at all. Oh, yeah, he still has the ball right there as he's going down to the ground. He's down at that point. Then the ball comes out. That would not be considered a fumble in my opinion.
After review, the ruling on the field has been confirmed. First down, Concord.
Yeah, that might be the easiest review of the year right there. So Dowse, 41-yard reception. This guy is a playmaker. You talk to the coaches, the word that pops out, he's an athlete. He actually was the #2 quarterback early this year on the depth chart. And then in the game against West Liberty, he scored 2 touchdowns, one on a punt return, one as a receiver. Electrifying speed, kind of a jiggerbug, and he has the Mountain Lions in a position to get the goose egg off the board. Full house set from the pistol. They run it to Ben Nestor, and he'll get to the corner. Touchdown. Did they ever need that?
They sure did. Nice play call. Everybody's bunched up thinking it's going to be a run in the middle, and they just get the edge, and that's it. And this point of the field, if you do not keep contained, it's an easy run for the end zone. Nice touchdown. Get points on the board. Kind of ease the stress of how the game's been going for them so far.
Mountain Lions onto the board for the first time. Andy Ellington to attempt the point after. And a wobbler, and he splits the uprights. Touchdown run by Ben Nestor. 19 rushing touchdowns in his career. The Mountain Lions are on the board. 6 plays, 71 yards for the Mountain Lions. They are on the board. Minnesota State with a 22-7 first half lead. Want to remind you, coming up at halftime, we'll go inside the UAB football program, take a look at their decision with their program concerning the short-term future for the Blazers. And then a story you won't want to miss as we relive the moments, those frantic moments of the Ivy League heist. Boy, somebody outsmarted somebody else in the Ivy Conference. And a great story there. Don't miss it. It's the Ivy League heist coming up, along with the stats and the highlights in this first half. Jermeal Dowse with a 41-yard reception. A key play on a 3rd and short for the Mountain Lions, and they are on the board. Side 5 minutes to go as the kick is bouncing into the corner through the end zone for the touchback. Critical stretch here. If the Mountain Lions can somehow generate a stop or a turnover, get the football back and try to get this thing back down to 1 possession. You mentioned it, Minnesota State will have the football to start the second half.
And Minnesota State has done a great job. Mankato has done a great job in every drive they've had, for the most part, driving and putting points on the board. And so I think it's indicative that Concord's able to try to figure out to slow them down and stop them. If they don't, it's just going to be tit for tat trying to catch up, and you won't be able to do it. You got to be able to put a drive, force a 3 and out, and let your offense get back on the field.
Mention the 2-quarterback system for the Mavericks, and we will get our first look at Nick Perocchini. Perocchini, a redshirt freshman out of Chicago, Notre Dame College Prep, and he was a game-time decision. He suffered a lower ankle injury in the win against Upper Iowa. Not seen a lot of reps here in the postseason. He started the final 3 regular season games when Lloyd went down with an injury, but attempted only 1 pass in the win against Pittsburgh State. Did not attempt a single pass last week in the win against Minnesota Duluth.
And you just got to hope, as they do their 2-headed quarterback system a little bit here, that it doesn't throw the rhythm off. That's what's most important. But you mentioned one thing. Nick is good with his legs. That lower extremity, we'll see how that affects his running attack.
Perocchini hands it off, and Thomas is good with his legs. We've seen that. He plows to the 46-yard line. Gary Saylor finally able to corral him.
Connor Thomas just has great vision. Look at that. 1 foot down and explode. That's what you want out of your running backs, to go north and south. Don't waste much time dancing around left and right. And that's been the biggest difference in the run game between Concord and Mankato.
11 carries, 54 yards today for Connor Thomas. We'll get the call here, bounces out of a pile, picks up a block from the quarterback, and finally pushed out at the Mountain Lion 31-yard line. Robbins, the last line of defense.
He's getting it done. He says, you know what, I may not be the All-American running back on the field, but I still have vision. Nothing's up in there. He uses his balance, stays outside, then turns it on up the field, uses his straight arm, trying to get a little bit more positive yards. What a vision by Connor Thomas today. I mean, he's taking it. He's being patient. He's not trying to force anything up in there. Whatever the defense leaves open, he's making them pay for it.
23-yard gallop. How about the block by Perocchini downfield, the quarterback? 3 minutes to go in this first half. Redshirt freshman down the seam, and it's nearly intercepted. Oh, a couple of different times. 2 secondary players with their hands on it. We've seen Robbins twice in this first half nearly come away with the pick.
That was an ill-advised throw by Nick, and you can see there's no way. He's throwing into the wind. That ball never had a chance to get there. Defender doesn't have a chance to hold on to it because a good job by Buford to come in there and kind of rake at it a little bit, and they just dodged the bullet. You got to understand, when you're going into the wind, you cannot throw a ball like that.
Robbins nearly had the initial pick, and then on the deflection, Johnson a few inches away from coming down with it. Go back to the ground game. Here comes a hold as Thomas goes over the left side. Looked like a WWF throw move right there. You saw one of the Mountain Lions get picked up and twirled into the air.
Well, let's look at this. Herschel Prater is 6'6", 305. Keith Ferguson is 6'1", 255. He threw him like he was his little brother.
Little body slam when your dad starts chewing you out for.
There were 2 fouls in the previous play. Holding, offense number 1. That penalty is declined. Holding, offense number 76. 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
You start seeing the ceiling dust come down from up above.
Exactly.
If you're going to hold, you might as well get your money's worth.
And watch this play, bro. Right there on the top screen. Look at 76 coming through. He gets him and he just right there. It's like, this isn't sumo wrestling, all right? You can't get him in the round pin and just toss him like that. And I like how he kind of looked at the referee like, what? I didn't do anything.
Second team all-conference, Herschel Prater pushes it back to the 41-yard line. Now movement on the left side, so this offensive line, who's played a whale of the first half.
Offense number 74, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Todd Hoffner does not like seeing that back-to-back penalties on his experienced front five.
Well, and this is what I talked about when you go with the two-quarterback system. They were used to Ricky Lloyd, his cadence, everything that he was doing. Now when Nick Pericino comes in, his cadence is a little bit different. Rhythm is a little bit off now. So they went from only one negative play to two in one series.
See the zone read, and they will hand it off. Second and third effort for Chad Zastro getting his first carry. Remember, no Andy Pfeiffer. I mean, this ground game is really lethal when you have the combination of Thomas and Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer in uniform, but he's a question mark, still nursing a lower leg injury. So Zastro gets the backup call. And just so many weapons. You pick your poison as a defensive coordinator on what you're going to stop.
You sure do. And that's what makes it tough when you know a team is loaded offensively. What weapon do you choose to take away? You do like Bill Belichick, you choose one or two and then tell the other people they got to buck up and be strong and win their battles.
Nickel package in for the Mountain Lions. They send one linebacker, and Cini is going to try to run for it. He has a lot of work to do, and he is gang tackled at the 33. And the Mountain Lions force a fourth down. The penalties come back to hurt Minnesota State. And a timeout taken for Concord there.
30-second timeout.
So we'll have one timeout left as we take a look at the road to Kansas City, Kansas. Next Saturday, a date for the Division II National Championship. Second-ranked Colorado State Pueblo taking on sixth-ranked West Georgia. Maybe the Cinderella story of the bunch. West Georgia with some impressive wins to get into today's semifinal. These two teams were the top seeds in their Super Regional. Mountain Lions from Super Region 1, Minnesota State from Super Region number 3, and they have spread it out through the years. You take a look at some of the previous champions, Northwest Missouri State. A year ago, Valdosta State, like we mentioned, they knocked off Minnesota State here in the semis, then went on to win it all. The Gorillas back in 2011.
That just shows you strong conferences when you can have multiple teams step up and do it. But that's what good competition breeds. It means that somebody out of your division is going to be a champion. And so you can't ask for anything better than that. Think about the NFL and NFC West, how tough that is, or the AFC West with the Chargers and Broncos and, you know, the Chiefs. I mean, all that stuff plays factor when you have tough competition in conference.
Big play late in this first half. It's going to be a double pass as they throw it right back to the quarterback, Lloyd, and he has nothing but purple out in front. Lloyd inside the 20, down to the 15-yard line. Oh, it's all working for the Mavericks in this first half.
What a play. Use a little bit of their own medicine, make them think it's a double pass, and all you're doing is coming right back. Look at the blocking out there. Will Greathouse, good job of hustling way from the right side of the field all the way to the left to stop that tackle. Otherwise, he's still going.
Lloyd talking to some of his receivers saying, boy, guys, that's pretty easy to make a catch. Made it look easy there. Quick throw out to the flats. Thomas with the catch. And he is wrapped up low. Sean Cummings, but not before 8 yards for Connor Thomas.
You know, Concord took that timeout thinking that they were going to get a stop, give their offense a chance, see if they can drive. And it just backfired on them. And that's kind of frustrating defensively when you put somebody in a situation where you got a 3rd and 4th and long, and then somehow, someway they still convert it.
This could be a huge deflator for the Mountain Lions if Minnesota State can find the end zone inside a minute to go in this first half. And again, we see one of the offensive linemen come out of their stance.
Start. Offense number 69. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
It's the 4-year starter, Hoffmeister.
You can see he's frustrated himself. He knows. He's like, man, I messed up. Come on. These offensive linemen, they love to hit. That's one reason why they're offensive linemen. And sometimes they can't contain themselves when they have that opportunity to go against somebody, especially if they're not as big as you in front.
Hoffmeister missed one game this year, the Southwest Minnesota State matchup.
Please set the game clock to 30 seconds.
Take the 10 seconds off with the offensive penalty, so that takes it down to 40 seconds. Still plenty of time. The Mavericks with 2 timeouts. Riggett the inner slot. 3 receivers to the right. That's Thomas shifting to the right as well. And look at the elusiveness of Perocchini, and he's going to get into the end zone for the touchdown. Again, Ferguson, who's been in the backfield, could not finish the play.
Very active player Ferguson is, but you're seeing right there the two-headed quarterback monster, the quarterback that's better with his feet than his arms, gets wrapped up with that strength, that power. He gets outside. Look at the speed. Looks like the wheel's working pretty good to me. Putting points up on the board, knowing that they get the ball first in the second half. That is a huge play by Mankato.
Offside. Defense, number 21, entering the neutral zone, causing the offense to false start. Half the distance to the goal. We'll replay the try.
So deja vu. We saw this after the first Minnesota State touchdown where the Mountain Lions were called for a penalty and Todd Hoffner did not waste any time to go for 2. And bet he's going to utilize a timeout here and script up one more 2-point play. So Minnesota State and Nick Perocchini on a fantastic run. He was a weapon all season using his feet, over 500 yards on the ground this year, 6 rushing touchdowns. He's been a big part of the success this season and the success of this program through the years. Minnesota State, one of the nation's longest win streaks, active current win streaks. You see Wisconsin Whitewater Division III coming into today's action with 30 consecutive. Florida State will have a chance to add to that in the college football playoff. And then you see these 2 programs, the Mountain Lions and the Mavericks, each with 13 consecutive.
It's like water and sand. 2 forces come together. One's going to have to give, and right now we're seeing Mankato's choosing not to give. They're choosing to take.
33 straight Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference wins for Minnesota State. 24 straight here at home. Their last conference loss at Blakesley Stadium, have to go back to 2010. St. Cloud State. 7 consecutive winning seasons, the longest in program history since 1974. That's the type of program that Todd Hoffner has built. And now they try to add a little frosting to the cake. And I believe they added it. They did. There's the signal. Perocchini with the 2. Minnesota State denied in 2012 in the semifinals, on their way in this first half.
They definitely are, and you can see why the seniors feel they're a team of destiny, why they're bound and determined to get themselves to the championship game. They really felt they had a bad taste in their mouth the last time that this had happened and weren't really prepared and ready. They are showing themselves they are more than ready and prepared, and I think they've done a good job watching tape. We kind of talked about it. Concord kind of devoured the 2 teams prior to them that both their defenses are ranked in the top 10 and only giving up less than 15 points a game. And they took them to the sheds, putting a lot of points on the board. This defense is, I believe, watched that film, took a personal onus and said, we are not going to let them open up on us. And so far in this first half, they've kept them bottled up.
Yeah, the Mountain Lions were involved in a shootout in the second round with Westchester. They won that game 51-36, a game that featured over 1,300 yards. So you mentioned the way they were able to outslug their opponents to get to this national semifinal, and they're going to need some of those fireworks in the second half to try to get back in this football game. Tico Henderson runs up, dropped the ball, picks it right back up, and then he goes down. Special teams play by Minnesota State's Bryce Dominic.
That wind again, we talked about it, getting caught up in the air. You can see it's just hard to judge. And then on top of that, it's a bit of a knuckleball. And when as a returner, if you do not get your hands up and make sure you get your hands on it first, it will do what we just saw. It'll go through the pocket, through the breadbasket, hit the gut, and roll down to the ground.
So with only one timeout, 20 seconds left, we'll see how aggressive Garen Justice plays in a large hole on the road. Novak dumps it off. Jones with the catch. Henderson's been all over the place defensively in this first half. He rides him down. We'll stop the clock with 8 seconds to go. Now, we can talk all afternoon about what the Mountain Lions need to do in the second half offensively to get back in this game, but if they don't come up with a stop defensively, it's all for a moot point. You look at what the Mavericks have done. 4 series, 4 drives in the first half, 4 touchdowns.
Exactly. They have not been stopped. And that's why it was imperative that this defense found a way to get some type of stop before they put this other score up, because at this point, even if you go back and forth scoring with them, you're down 23 points. I mean, there's no way you can make that up going tit for tat. So I think it's very important that they figure something out defensively, see if they can climb back into this game.
It has been a year of firsts for the Mountain Lions this year, and this is what a typical Saturday afternoon at Callaghan Stadium in beautiful Athens, West Virginia looks like. And the enthusiasm around this program, the tailgating around the stadium, their first 13-win season, coming off their first 2 playoff wins in school history, their first football championship in the 2-year-old Mountain East Conference. The enthusiasm that Coach Justice has brought certainly can be felt each and every Saturday when they're at home in Athens, but they're a long way from home here. And this proud tradition of Minnesota State, a couple of near misses the past couple of years, but they have sent a statement. It all started with the quarterback, Ricky Lloyd. Coach Todd Hoffner and company. Mavericks in cruise control here at the break. The NCAA Division II Football Championship is brought to you by Northwestern Mutual. Good look inside a jam-packed Blakesley Stadium here in Mankato, Minnesota. Top-ranked, top-seeded Minnesota State on top, 30-7 here at the half, and they will get the football first to begin quarter number 3. Lion defense unable to stop the Mavericks in the first half. We'll see what adjustments they make as they try to claw their way back into it. Not a good start as the kick goes sailing out of bounds, and Minnesota State will get the football in great shape. And the first half all about Ricky Lloyd.
Kickoff out of bounds. The ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down, Minnesota State.
Lloyd came out and set the tone. 12 of 16 in the first half, 156 yards, the 3 touchdowns to 3 different receivers, and then you throw in the tough-nosed running of Connor Thomas, and this was a 1-2 punch that the Mountain Lions could not stop in the first half.
It surely was, and you mentioned that kick. That happened after their touchdown. They lucked up, and it actually rolled into the end zone and didn't go out of bounds.
So the Mavericks from the 35-yard line expect to see a steady dose of number 5, and there he goes, and he's still on his feet. Finally brought down at the 26-yard line by Jeremiah Johnson. 51 yards for Connor Thomas. He's over 100 today.
That's a way to start the first drive of the second half. Look at a nice seam, missed tackle. The rest is all Thomas. Using explosive speed, protecting that ball. Nice big run. He's saying, I'm the running back that everybody needs to reckon with today.
Second on the team a year ago in rushing yards. Junior out of Chicago, and now movement up front. This offensive line.
False start. Offense number 69. 5-yard penalty. First down.
This offensive line has played well on the blocking front, but they've had some mental mistakes, a holding call and a number of illegal procedures. That's twice that they've hit Max Hoffmeister at right tackle.
I think because they're running the ball so effectively, they're over anxious. They just got to be patient. They know that they're undersized on the opposite side of them. They just got to be patient, wait for the snap, and go after it.
At the 31-yard line, low snap, dug out by Lloyd. He'll fire. Buford's been active, makes the catch, shakes free from the initial defender, and picks up first down yardage inside the 15-yard line. Mike Carey could not wrap him up.
Nope, just a simple stop route. Just some poor tackling. You're supposed to come outside in, not inside out. And when that happens, you can see he gets his head down, Mike Carey there, just like, man, I should never let that happen.
7 catches, 99 yards for Dorian Buford. We mentioned back in 2012, he was a first-team All-Missouri Valley Football Conference player while playing for Missouri State. Tied the Missouri State single-season record that year for receptions in a season. Just a tremendous sophomore campaign. He's found a spot here in Mankato. And it's a nice flux of junior college guys mixing in with the local 4-year player at Minnesota State.
Got a good program going right now.
Inside the 10-yard line out of the pistol, they give it to Thomas. And Thomas keeps his balance. Missed tackles, the story of this game. Gary Saylor had a crack at him. Thomas too strong. And the Mavericks keep the locomotive rolling.
Just a simple dive play, but look at the vision. He sees the hole, bounces outside. Saylor tries to wrap up, but not in a good position. Connor Thomas is a bit strong for arm tackling. You got to bring your feet, wrap up, and have a friend.
Second touchdown today for Thomas. First team all Northern Sun selection in Minnesota State. That did not take long. Going after, up and through for Hafar. No Andy Pfeiffer today, no problem. Connor Thomas, the junior, flexing their muscle. For the second straight year, Minnesota State finished up the regular season the #1 ranked team in Division II football. Last year, they lost in the second round to rival St. Cloud State, 54-48. That loss left a bad taste in their mouths all through the offseason. It was a motivational factor throughout the course of the year. And then, ironically, they opened up the season with St. Cloud State. The defense pitched a shutout. And they have not looked back since week 1. And here in the semifinals, they are taking care of business. Todd Hoffner with a terrific game plan. His offense is executed flawlessly in this football game. 5 possessions, 5 touchdowns. It doesn't get any more cleaner, crisper than that.
It surely doesn't. And I think they've been able to do everything that they've wanted to do offensively. They have set up a great balance between run and pass. They've converted high percentage on the third downs. It's just they have been unstoppable.
So from the 25-yard line, Brian Novak will give it off to Kavanaugh Jones. Jones has had a tough going today. Henderson and Barry Ballinger drop him, pick up a yard.
That's a perfect example I was talking about in the first half. They've given him no back cut lanes. You look at what's been happening on the other side of the ball with Connor Thomas. He's had back cut lanes. They have not given Jones any lanes to cut back to.
Novak's going to throw, fires, and the pass is caught by Dowse. Second large catch of the day for Jermeel Dowse. There is a marker down as well, way back at the 21-yard line.
Even when they get a break, they don't get a break.
Illegal formation, 5 players in the backfield. Offense number 75. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Did not have 7 on the line of scrimmage.
That was a backbreaker. They had the matchup they wanted with Nathan Hancock right there, coming up trying to cover the slot receiver, get the nice conversion, but then the penalty hurt them, and that's what they don't need offensively. They can't make plays like that.
Aaron Justice grew up in southern West Virginia, now guiding this program located in Athens. A lot of these guys had never even been on a plane before. They flew into town yesterday. Second and long. Dropped, incomplete, looking for Davon McGill. Sets up a third down, double digits for the Mountain Lions.
Well, right now it's imperative that defensively Mankato knows what has to happen, keeps it in front. Don't allow any big plays. If you're Concord, all you can do is hope for a penalty to get a first down, or you find a seam, because right now you're going to go no backs, you're going to try to stretch that field. Hope your offensive line doesn't let the front four get after it.
These are the situations where Josh Gordon has made a living. They pick him up here. Novak throws it. It's intercepted. Picked off by Ramil Harris, and he'll return it down to the 7.
What a play by Ramil Harris, knowing how long they had to go. Perfect coverage by the defense. Look at, he sat down on it, broke up on it, was covered forward. He saw the slot receiver coming out to him. He just jumped the route. Novak had no chance, didn't even see him. Great play, puts the team in a positive territory. You see if they can add more scores to the board.
You talk about on a roll. Ramil Harris with an interception in the 4th straight game here. 5 picks in the last 6 for Ramil Harris, the junior. Minnesota State, they haven't already thrown the knockout punch. This very well might do it. Early on in the 3rd quarter, on top comfortably.
Well, right now we can see what team has came out with fire from the halftime pep talk. Mankato's clearly started with that opening drive, 4 plays, getting into the end zone, and here they are defensively. They get on the field, make a play, put the offense in positive territory again, and looks like they're moving in to score.
Running back is Chad Zastro out of the pistol, and Lloyd will hand it to Zastro straight up the middle. He gets 4, cut down at the 5.
You're really seeing the size of Mankato's offensive line start to take hold of this front for Concord. When you look at it, Daryl Johnson, the big guy, 6'1", 320. Then you got Silas, 6 foot 270. But outside of that, 216, 255. Starts to wear down as the game progresses.
A couple reserves on the right side with Windricks and Coy. Right guard and right tackle in on this 3rd down play. Double clutch, throw, wide open, Duncan, touchdown, Minnesota State.
Nice catch by Bryce Duncan. Watch Ricky Lloyd just sets it up, gives a punt fake, pulls the defender out of the middle so that he has a chance, never sees the guy behind him. Easy throw and catch for this offense.
Season high 4 touchdowns for Ricky Lloyd, and Ryan Novak over on the Mountain Lions sideline knows that this might be the end of their storied season. They have run into a buzzsaw. Bryce Duncan, the junior from Rochester, Minnesota. Ricky Lloyd, 4 touchdown strikes. Mavericks on a stampede. 10:16 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Minnesota State with 2 more scores in this 2nd half, taking advantage of the interception by secondary personnel. Ramil Harris with the 2nd interception of the day, and that leads to 6 points as Lloyd throws his 4th touchdown. Duncan, the tight end, 44-7 Minnesota State. With that win behind him, Tico Henderson's going to give it a shot. Henderson with a good return out near the 30-yard line. This Minnesota State program located in Mankato, one of the Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference. The men's hockey team ranked number 3, but they are on the sideline tonight. They were scheduled to take on Princeton here in Mankato, but they were forced to cancel the game due to the outbreak of the flu with the hockey team. 15 guys out with the flu, so unable to play the game. They were forced to cancel it. It will be ruled a no contest, meaning no makeup date is set. So Minnesota State will try to heal up, get ready for their January 2nd and 3rd league road series at Northern Michigan. One of the few times Kavanaugh Jones has had some room to work. You saw his ability to break away, and Jones takes it to the Maverick 47-yard line.
And we see the speed. This is the first time he's able to cut back. Watch this. The lane right there where Mankato's done a good job of closing that back cut lane. That one time they didn't, and he made him pay for it. This is explosive speed that they talked about. Coach Justice saying that they felt this Mankato defense had to deal with.
23-yard run, by far the biggest on the afternoon. Now they dump it off to him. He makes the catch, but he is hit immediately by the brains of the operation, Chris Fleigl.
Chris Fleigl doing a good job just coming up, wrapping up. That's what's crucial about this. He's not a very big guy. 6'3", 205 for inside linebacker.
They say he watches film like a coach. He's the film master, has played every game the last 2 years. Second on the team last season with 61 tackles, 66 entering play today. Here comes Jones, a little bit of a motor, some extra step, and he'll pick up first down yardage.
That's a play right there where Fresh Fragile had another chance. He jumped up in there, kind of came out. You can't arm tackle Jones. He's too much of a quick runner to run through that.
A homecoming of sorts for Jones. He's one of the few guys on this Mountain Lion roster that had been inside the state lines of Minnesota. Back in his middle school years, attended Rochester as Nestor, his replacement, is punished in the backfield. Sean Keel Dorsey coming back from a serious knee injury a year ago with the TFL.
Staying in his home assignment, knowing that he had contained, beat the block, got upfield, and wrapped up. That's exactly how you stop a fast team.
Dorsey started his career at Montana State, redshirted in Billings back in 2009. 2nd and 12, no room for Nestor. He's swallowed up, trying to sniff out the left side. Josh Gordon in on the stop.
Concord's offense, they had that big run by Jones, kind of set them going a little bit, but since then, this defense is kind of buttoned up again, making sure they're keeping those lanes, not allowing this running attack to get going.
One guy we have not mentioned is the speedster T.J. Smith, number 5, the receiver. Split to the bottom of the screen. No catches today. Novak looking his direction, being chased by Gordon, throws underneath, and it's caught, and then Smith lost the football, recovered by Minnesota State. Fleigl ended up with the football. Still no indication from the officials. Like Fleigl was able to get control before it went out of bounds.
T.J. Smith went down and really caught that ball with his fingertips right off the ground. Tough throw. Look at it. He goes down and gets that ball off the ground right at that second. That's a ball gets stripped out right there. And now the question is, did his foot touch out of bounds before he touched it?
The left leg of Fleigl there.
Right, and that's, I think, partially what they might be discussing.
The ruling on the field is that the ball was fumbled by Concord and recovered by a player who was out of bounds. The ball will be brought back to the spot of the fumble. 3rd down.
The strip by Otto and the near fumble recovery by Chris Fleigl.
And you know they're going for it. This is 4-down territory, pretty much rest of the game. You got to put points on the board. You can't kick.
Don't tell Todd Hoffner his team's winning by 37. I think you're seeing.
Has challenged the ruling on the field and the ball being recovered out of bounds. We'll review the previous play.
I think you're seeing the competitive nature of Coach Hoffner and why his players love him. And he had a pretty good vantage point right in front of him there along the near side. So they will take a look upstairs.
Right, and I just wondered what we saw with the foot touching the line. Usually the rule of thumb is you can't be the first one to touch the ball when you go out of bounds. You can see the ball comes out, clearly a fumble. So right there, the left foot is out of bounds as the defender touches the ball. Justin Otto, I want to say. So there's the ball out. And there's the touch on the sideline.
After reviewing the play, Minnesota State player number 50 was out of bounds when he recovered the fumble. Minnesota State is charged with a timeout, and they have used their challenge for this game. The call on the field is confirmed.
Take a look at the left leg of Flegel, number 50, right there.
Yep, exactly. That's a good call, and
great job by our camera crew.
Right, and I appreciate the coach wanting to do that, show your players that you're going to fight for it, but definitely was a challenge that he probably wishes he had back.
Here comes the blitz on the edge. Novak with a tight spiral. Incomplete, looking for Smith. Blanket coverage by Ramil Harris. And the defense comes away with another stop. 7:12 to go, third quarter. Novak and the Mountain Lions come up empty. Minnesota State on top here, 44-7. Todd Hoffner in his 5th year guiding the Maverick program. Third trip to the NCAA tournament. He was winless prior to this year. Lost to Ashland in 2008, a first-round setback to Hillsdale in 2009. But this combination of offense, you see the numbers, what they have put up today. There has been no denying them. And they set their sights on Kansas City next Saturday. Matchup against the winner of Colorado State Pueblo and West Georgia.
Yeah, and whoever that is, they're going to have a team to reckon with here, because Mankato has shown two things for sure. One, offensively, they're as balanced as anybody. They can beat you either way, running or passing. But most importantly, defensively, like shutting down a high-powered offense, and that's exactly what they've done today.
Chad Zastro gets his second carry. Steady dose on the ground right now for Minnesota State. They'll move the chains and a first down. Take a look at the brackets. We're down to the remaining 4. Minnesota State in control here. West Georgia, one of those teams that I think has surprised a few folks in this Division II playoff. They march on. Today they are taking on Colorado State Pueblo. Kansas City, Kansas next Saturday for the Division II championship. First set of downs from the 44-yard line. Darius Clare, one of the tight ends, he's checked in. They flip it on a sweep play to Riggett. Giving ground and pursued, and a fine play. Derek Johnson tracked him all the way across the field. Johnson showing some closing speed.
That is a hustle play. We talked about it. With someone with a lot of speed, make them go east and west, and that's exactly what they did. The reason he was upfield, it forced him to have to go, Riggett to go a little bit wider, and he just couldn't make that turn. It's not like track where you got a nice long 100-meter curve that you can make a loop around. You can't do that in football. And if you're going that fast, chances are you're not going to be able to turn the corner.
Johnson, one of the most improved players from spring ball, according to the coaching staff, really bought into the system. 7 interceptions this year. Riggett makes the catch on the throw from Terracini. Minimal gain, brought down immediately by Johnson again.
Now you're going to see a lot of just eating the clock. I mean, they got themselves in 3rd and long right now. 2 pass plays that kind of contrary to what they've been doing. I think as they look back, they're going to like, you know what, let's just keep going north and south. This defense hasn't been able to stop us when we do that.
Terracini from the shotgun. Let's see if the Mountain Lions send some pressure. They do. They rush 5. Terracini steps and throws a strike. What a catch by Ryder. Jeremiah Johnson could not have defended any better there.
Yeah, that's one of those. There's nothing you can do. A great throw and catch always beats great coverage. Good coverage, the ball is put to where it should be. Outside corner, look at the setup route. Make him think he's going in. He's looking back in the backfield. That's the only thing Jeremiah Johnson would need to clean up in that type of situation. If you're standing at the quarterback, you can see him throw the ball. You will never be able to get the ball. You have to drive to the receiver, then turn your head.
Ryder described as a fearless receiver, one of those guys that has made a living over the middle. Zastro nearly botched the handoff there. He was juggling by the time he hit the hole, regained control.
Right now, what you're seeing is Concord, they're frustrated. The big boys going out. They got some fresh legs in there trying to keep up, but it's almost like you're dazed. It's like, I can't believe this just happened. The way they've been playing to get to a game like this, like you say, they've run out of steam.
It's been a balanced attack as they continue on the ground over the left side. 4 more yards for Zastro. Key block thrown by Gary Hyatt. Flattened his defender, and that opened up a little bit of a hole. Mentioned the balance, 212 rushing yards today, 224 through the air for Todd Hoffner's Mavericks.
You couldn't ask for a better balance in any type of game.
And a foul on the play, 3rd down.
Third down and short. Cini throws, and the tight ends have been active. Making the catch, Jeff Burns, his 2nd reception. He started the fireworks early in the game, not even 3 minutes in when he caught the first touchdown pass, the first of 4 from Ricky Lloyd.
I mean, it's just the 3rd down conversions that Mankato's been able to do today is a huge backbreaker because they're 12 of 13 so far today. I mean, that is literally unheard of. Because basically that's telling the defense, you can't stop us.
And that's been a problem spot all year for the Mountain Lions. They've had a tough time stopping the opposition on 3rd downs, just 36%. Zastro gets 3, maybe 4. And you look at the game situation here, late in the 3rd quarter, Minnesota State in control. And this is a perfect drive for the Mavericks. They're eating the clock, keeping it ticking, picking up first downs and moving the football.
They sure have been. And out of those 12 first downs, at least 3 or 4 of them were 10-plus yards. And so that really demoralizes the defense. When you win the battle, you get that 3rd long, which should mean a victory for the defense, and it doesn't happen.
That look you saw on young Garen Justice's face said it all. Into the 2nd tier, Zastro close to another first down. Looks like he'll be about a half a yard shy. There were question marks at quarterback coming into the season for Minnesota State. They were trying to replace John Wolf, the Harlan Hill finalist, and Mitch Brozovic, a guy they thought that probably had the inside shot. He was battling Perocchini for the starting gig in the spring, but he suddenly left the program in May, and that's when offensive coordinator Jason Eck went to work. He contacted Ricky Lloyd, who was looking for a spot where he could contribute after coming back from an injury with Southern Mississippi. So they brought Lloyd in. And then it's been the 1-2, that 2-headed dragon you alluded to with Lloyd and Perocchini running the offense and running it effectively.
And they have been, both of them. And you're seeing just a nice, clean kick-out block. And both these running backs, Zastro just patient, letting the hole develop. And I think more importantly, like you mentioned with the quarterback situation, Ricky Lloyd, I think, is taking the press, but took him on himself. He is the better passer. We've seen today his accuracy. He's able to use his legs. And I think this having these packages makes it tough for opposing teams to game plan for 2 different quarterbacks.
How about this? Andy Pfeiffer, Minnesota State's career rushing leader, who's been nursing a leg injury. Out on the field, he gets the call and he comes up limping a little bit. You see him favoring the right leg. He was injured in the Upper Iowa game. He's been battling turf toe all year. And you hear the round of applause and the appreciation for Pfeiffer and the career that he has enjoyed at Minnesota State.
Well, and I think that's cool. The coaches get him in, get him for a play. Turf toe is nothing to mess with, especially as the temperature starts to drop.
blending of youth and experience. Connor Thomas, he's been flexing his muscle all afternoon. The defense with a couple of takeaways. Ramil Harris, a touchdown throw from Ricky Lloyd. He has 4 of them. Mavericks rolling. A 2-quarterback system with Minnesota State. Ricky Lloyd on the right. He has seen the majority of the snaps today. He has inflicted the most damage. 14 of 18 for 177 yards and 4 touchdowns. Perocchini, the other quarterback, has a touchdown run in this game. And Lloyd left the state of California in high school his senior year. He led the state in passing yards and completions, over 4,400 yards. 301 completions, threw for 52 touchdowns his senior year, which was a North California record. Went on to spend 3 years at Southern Miss. He started 2 games in 2012 against Louisville and Boise State. Then he suffered a season-ending injury. Came back last season, but did not see any game action, and that prompted the move. He wanted to find a place where he could play immediately and be a part of a championship culture, and that is what landed him here in Mankato.
Before the snap, charge timeout, Concord. Their first of the half. A 30-second timeout. Correction, immediate timeout.
You know what's so important about that is one, when you get to do that in California, you know, where I grew up and everything else, that's a huge standard because it's a big state. You got a lot of tough talents with the modern days and all those types of schools. But I think what's more important is what I always tell young athletes when I'm talking to them about school and everything else, they want to go to a USC or Alabama or whatever. My first question is, well, what's your goal? If your goal is to get the education only, you don't care if you get on the field, fine. By all means, you go to that type of place. But if your goal is to actually play and hopefully get to Sundays to be able to play, you got to go somewhere where you can be on the field. The scouts won't find you on the bench. So I think that was imperative on him as the owner saying, you know what, I want to go someplace, and then picking a place such as here that he knew that I see what they've done there. I think I can contribute and help them get to that championship game, if not win it.
And you talk about being a leader and the experience that he can bring to this program. I mean, his 2 starts against 2 powers. Boise State back in the day, back in that time frame, one of the main contenders, and then Louisville. So here's a young man, despite just a sophomore, with that type of experience to help out Perocchini and the rest of this offensive unit.
Right, and think of it this way too. When you go to recruit and you're going for those skilled position people and the offensive linemen, they say, this is the quarterbacks we have. That is a bonus because now they're looking at, it's only a sophomore, they did that, I can come be a part of that.
3rd down and 8, Perocchini throws, and it looked like it short hopped the run, incomplete. Johnson had the coverage. 4th down coming up. Probably get our first look at Alden Hafar as he tries to get some work in.
This should be an interesting kick, even though it's not that long. The wind is still blowing. So, and he's on the right hash, and with Tennessee, sometimes when you're on the right hash, to pull that thing a little bit more than it should be.
Hafar was in Iowa City last year. Used his red shirt with the Hawkeyes. A nice job kicking, 16 of 27 on the season, and he adds 3 more for Minnesota State. Mavericks settle for 3. They lead at 47. Well, my partner up here, Jay Taylor, why are you sticking your hands on the television monitor, buddy? Does that look that warm right there?
Oh, it does. It does. It's 77 degrees in Phoenix. Just saying.
We flew Jay in from Phoenix. Balmy weather down there, and it's balmy for the Minnesotians around here. This is a great afternoon. For mid-December, you get 40 degrees, and they're ready to hit the beach around here.
You know, we don't even see 40 degrees at night in Phoenix sometimes.
Dowse on the return, takes it up to the 29-yard line. It's a culture, when you look at Minnesota State, and as you worked on the research this week and found out about this program, one thing I noticed on their main media page, every single photo shot of the players, at least 90% of the photos, did you notice, were taken in a blizzard? They had the guys out there with the snow falling. They take pride in the elements. That's part of the culture around here.
Well, and it makes a difference because you have to play in this type of weather, so you need to make sure you get used to it. I remember my time in Kansas City. You know, it was not fun playing it cold, but you eventually get used to it.
Novak, a deep drop, a deep shot, and he overshot his intended target. It was Smith again. We talked about how quiet T.J. Smith has been. He had a step there, but the throw with that wind behind him looked like it kept it up a little bit long.
And that's the point. The wind was behind, and we've noticed it.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 94, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. This is number 94's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul for this game.
Alex Vesper.
Right, and you know, we talked about Mankato had issues going this way as well on the long balls, and it's hard because that wind's behind. How much do I put on it? Do I put it, you know, take a little off? It's hard. It's hard to feel the wind. It's not like golf where you can go out there and just kind of play it. It's either going to benefit you or hurt you.
On first down, they give it to Jones over the right side. He hop skips through a little hole, crosses on to the Mavericks side to the 48. One of our key guys on this offensive line for the Mountain Lions was Rustin Mayorga, the center. He thought football was over 2 years ago. He finished up his last year of eligibility at Foothill College, a two-year institution in California. That's when the phone rang and Garen Justice invited him to come to Athens, and he has been a steady player in the center of this offensive line. And his size at only 260, he's a little guy, but he's so athletic. He can move around, and you see him hopping, look like he got rolled up on. And really the team leader on that offensive line.
Definitely is, and the offensive line, like they said, they like to run that stretch running play, so they want athletic, moving offensive linemen, and that's exactly the bill he filled.
Again, Novak takes a crack downfield. This time he hooks up with Dowse, and he is pushed out shy of the end zone at the 2. Jermeel Dowse.
Now, Justin Otto, this has happened a couple times. Just turn your head around. You're a big safety. You're 6'1". You're 6'1". You can see that when you close to a receiver, you have to roll your head around. And look at this throw. Knowing he's going to get hit, steps in, still makes the throw. That's one reason, being a coach's son, that he's in there.
It was Gordon who delivered the blow. And Marker back before the snap. This crew's done a nice job today.
The offense had 12 players in the huddle. However, before the foul, the previous play is under further review.
So they're going to take a look at the catch by Jermeel Dowse.
That's interesting. So does that mean they won't get the penalty for 12-minute huddle, or they're looking to see? So there's the catch. Oh, he definitely stepped out before he got there.
And again, the call on the field is before the end zone, before the pylon.
Right.
I don't know if we have enough evidence there to see if that football was stretched beyond the goal line before that foot went out of bounds.
Just at that angle, it doesn't even look like it. Look at I think it's the right foot that touches the sideline. Watch. Foot down, then the ball. See, the ball doesn't look like it's there. And from that angle, I don't know if that's something they can overturn. But it was a good stretch, you know. These couple times, and I go back to it, as a DB, you're going to get beat sometimes, but you have to have composure. You need to realize when the receiver slows down, just turn your head. If you just turn your head, you're going to run into the receiver, but if you turn your head, you might have a chance of catching the ball, or at least knocking the ball down, and you won't get a pass interference.
Jermeel Dowse started his career at Alabama State. Terrific athlete.
After review, the ruling on the field of the runner being short of the goal line is confirmed. First down.
So as we expected, it will be first and goal for the Mountain Lions. You know, I thought Garen Justice described it perfectly when looking at Division II programs and how you build a program like he has. He says it's kind of what the NFL does. You better be able to draft well, and by draft, the correlation is recruit well, get your local kids to come, and then you pick up a few home run free agents along the way, the transfer students.
And that's the truth. That's how you have to do it. You have to feed the pipeline. If you don't feed the pipeline, you'll have a one and done or two and done season. You got to make sure you keep the stock coming in.
And speaking of the pipeline, Ben Nestor, the tailback, a little wildcat formation there, and he has found the end zone twice for the Mountain Lions.
At this point in the time of the game, offensively for Concord, you want to get some points on the board. You want some type of positives to talk about with the guys. But we all know that defensively, that's where this game came down to it. Defensively, they couldn't stop Mankato, and Mankato's defense has done a good job of holding them right now, just giving up 14 points.
And the kick is blocked. That's a live ball. Look at the big guy juggling it. That's Barry Bollinger, and he goes out of bounds. And a point after block by Minnesota State. Ironic because special teams has been the bread and butter for Garen Justice all season long. Not the case this afternoon. The Minnesota State big men up the middle with the block. Mavericks 12 minutes, 15 seconds away from a ticket to Kansas City. Good look at a local product back in Athens, West Virginia. Ben Nestor, senior from Gardner Pikeview High School. He has scored both of the Mountain Lions touchdowns this afternoon. Nestor has been a touchdown machine. Doesn't get a lot of touches, but throughout his career, his 2 rushing touchdowns, now 20 in his career. And this is a guy that doesn't see the football a lot, but when they get inside that red zone, inside the 10, he's sure-handed, and he has a nose for the end zone. Even against the stout Maverick defense.
Right now, special teams needs to be alert and aware. Watch for the onside. Just the simple little things. You don't pay attention to that, it can come back to bite you.
And there it is, right on cue. Ball loose, it's still dangling, and I think the Lions jumped on it. And it will be Mountain Lion football with 12:05 to go. It didn't go the necessary 10 yards, but it didn't have to because it hit a Maverick right there.
Right, and when you go up like that, you can see he was in a poor angle. Usually that type of person.
Ball was touched by the return team, then recovered by the kicking team legally. First down, Concord.
And that's exactly what the case was. Because he came up with a poor angle. He wasn't able to actually square his body off. Think of it like baseball, and like your infielder, shortstop, second base. You have to be able to keep that ball in front of you. He wasn't able to do that, and Concord got the ball.
Cade Rogers, the recovery. And I believe they're going to take a look at this upstairs.
Clock operator, please reset the game clock to 12 minutes, 15 seconds, 12:15. Thank you.
So they will reset the game clock, 12:15. And the Lion offense right back to work. Maroon and gray, Brian Novak. Not the type of afternoon he was hoping for, but give them some credit. They're battling here in the end.
They definitely are. You know, they didn't win 13 games just because. They won 13 games because they were able to compete and be efficient in what they did, found ways to come back in the games. So I don't expect them to lay down by any means.
From the 44-yard line, Novak, a deep drop. Here comes the pressure. He escapes trouble, floats, and Jones makes the catch. And look at his balance. He just kept the motor churning. He'll get 13. Good job by Novak to avoid harm's way.
You see the pressure coming, a little TE stunt right there in front. They get him bottled in a little bit, but at that point, they lose their lanes, uses his legs to scramble around, gets that ball out, and Jones does the rest.
On to the Mavericks side, Novak right back to the air. Flushed, trying to direct traffic, and he's caught by Bollinger and sacked. Gordon also jumped into the party.
That's his situation. Novak should have just ran with the ball. Watch, he scrambles around, nothing there. Just run. He's trying to stall and get a little bit more. He should have used his legs at this point in time in the game. If it's not there, use the legs, extend the play, get positive yards, not negative yards.
Larry Bollinger, a 4-year player, the senior with his second sack of the year. 10.5 sacks in his career for the Mavericks. Second and long. They rush 4. Look at the penetration right up the middle. A bull rush. Novak gets rid of it. Ryan Stewart with the catch up to the 41.
And they've done a good job today. You notice we haven't really yelled Joshua Gordon's name on a sack at all. So offensive line has done a good job of keeping him away from the quarterback. But it's just the rest of the game and other plays that they've been able to keep them bottled up.
Yeah, 4 all-conference guys in the front wall for Garen Justice's Mountain Lions. 3rd and 8, linebacker blitz, slant, juggled and caught. Jones hangs on, keeps his balance, and picks up a first down. Hancock and Andriano with the stop.
Watch Dorsey on the top of your screen. He's responsible for him. That's a defensive end trying to cover a running back. That's just not going to happen. The running back's going to win that every time.
15 yards and a 3rd down conversion. Nestor's checked in. They settle underneath. Dump off to the tight end, Brendo. 11 more yards, and the Mountain Lions inside the red zone. The up-tempo style. Novak red hot, stays that way. Another completion. That's 5 in a row as he hooks up with number 5, TJ Smith.
Now the defense has to get a little bit more aggressive. They're letting them play pitch and catch in front of them right now, but now you nestle up against the end zone. You have to see if you can force them to use 3 downs.
See if they give it to Nestor. They play fake it to him. Novak in all sorts of trouble, and down he goes. Sacked back at the 13.
That was a 2nd and short. They probably would have been better running the ball, but see this? Play action wasn't go up top, but because the defender's there, the receiver didn't turn around quick enough. He's running the route like there's a bunch of time, and there wasn't. Allows the rush to get there, and they get the sack.
Rob Myers was part of the 2012 NJCAA National Championship team from Iowa Western, redshirted last year in Ames, Iowa, at Iowa State. Now here he comes away with a late sack. Novak avoids Gordon, has nowhere to go with it, and a sea of purple creates the turnover. Harris picks up the loose football, and the defense with another stop. There is a marker down after the play.
Yeah, that's unsportsmanlike. I'm waiting to see how they're going to do it because Joshua Gordon was talking and having a nice vocal conversation with Dave Hunt.
Rolling on the field was a fumble recovered by Minnesota State after the play was over. Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 1 of the fumbling team. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Davon McGill.
Yep. Somehow, some way, he was protecting his quarterback. Didn't see how the beginning of that happened. But you know how it always works. When you push a guy and then you push back, second guy tends to get the flag, and great play.
A Minnesota State defense that forced 35 turnovers throughout the course of the year. They have created enough havoc to force 3 tonight. Todd Hoffner's defense has sacked Novak 3 times. They have created 3 turnovers. Minnesota State on top, 47-13, alongside Jay Taylor. Sean Kinney welcoming you back to Mankato, Minnesota. Maverick offense will go back to work as they pitch it to Zastro. Looking for some room, not much. He's tracked down by Derek Johnson. He's a good player. Johnson, a junior out of Pleasant Hill, California. We have called his name a lot. We mentioned he's kind of been the turnover machine, the communicator in that secondary for the Mountain Lions.
Sure has, and at this point he's doing everything. He had to come up there. You can see he's trying to shake it off. When it gets cold and that ground, you hit that ground, you bounce your head around, it's not a good feeling. I know exactly what he's going through right there, so he's trying to shake it off. They may want to check him for concussion a little bit because it doesn't look necessarily right to me right now.
2nd down and 7 from the 46-yard line. They will give to Zastro again. He has a seam and a first down. Jeremiah Johnson, the corner, If you notice, a lot of these tackles we've been describing coming from the cornerbacks and safeties.
Yep, they're getting to the second level, and that's just wreaking havoc. This offensive line they're bigger, they're stronger at the point of attack, and it's just like a heavyweight fight. You jab enough, come that 12th round, you start to get wobbly, and that's what we're seeing right now. In the fourth quarter, defensive front is not getting it done, and they're getting to the second level, and the secondary is having to come in and make these tackles.
Nick Perocchini orchestrating the show here at quarterback. Zastro gets his third straight carry, and for the third straight time, he's into the secondary. 10 more yards, ripping them off in chunks.
And it's the cutback. If you notice, both Thomas and Zastro, they're starting to the front side of the run play. They're patient enough to let it develop, and then they're cutting back and finding those holes. And that's the hard part that Jones is having on the other side for Concord. When he wants to cut back, those lanes aren't there. Mankato's defense has done a good job of taking that away. Concord's defense has not done a good job of taking the cutback lanes away.
Zastro, who you saw leave the lineup, started his career in Normal, Illinois. A Redbird for Illinois State for 1 year. 2-year starter at Century High School. His former team, Illinois State, in the Northwest today, taking on Eastern Washington for a spot in next weekend's FCS semifinals. Anthony Lewis, the ball carrier. Second down coming up for the Mavericks.
Right now, it's just about controlling the line of scrimmage. That's all they're doing. They're just eating up some clock. They know they got this defense wore out. There was the last hurrah by the offense, but resulted in a turnover. And right now, this defense is just trying to lick its wounds and keep itself going.
Two tight ends switch over to the left side, Burns and Clare. On second down, Lewis is thrown forward. Up a yard or two. Nick Ortiz, who's had a quiet day, and on the stop.
Good job that time of taking away the cutback lane. They're actually back in the backfield before you can make that break.
As you see the clock wind down, inside 6 minutes to go, what must be going through the mind of Todd Hoffner right now, the head coach, after what he has been through the past 2 years? What a satisfying feeling for him as he sees this clock grind down and his Mavericks inch closer to their first appearance in a national championship.
Well, it's twofold. He's excited that they've gotten to this point. But that being said, the journey's not done. You can't enjoy your press clippings, so to speak, at this point. You have to get the team focused, almost pull like a Bill Belichick, find as many things wrong as you can in what went on today.
Run through the injury timeout. Clock operator, please reset the game clock to 5 minutes, 47 seconds. 5:47. Thank you.
So understanding that, he just has to ground these guys back, saying, you know, we got our next test. Chances are they're going to get this game done. He's going to get back to his office and be watching the next game just to get ready
for the next one. Third down and 6. Perocchini throws, and it's tipped incomplete. Bring up a fourth down. And Minnesota State, this be the first time that the offense has been stopped. They were a perfect 7 for 7 on every single series tonight. They have come away with points.
Well, this is also the hard part. We're going two quarterbacks sometimes. That throw right there, Perocchini, he threw it behind him. And he wasn't even completely out of his break when the ball came out. You got it, the tempo, the timing kind of gets a little bit off. So we'll see if they can get this conversion.
4th and 6. Some movement up front. Let's see if Johnson was enticed.
Ball start. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Nicholas Coy, the offensive line. You have some reserves on the line right now for the Mavericks.
You just get in the game. You got to be smarter than that. You got to be patient. Don't be anxious. And that's exactly what we saw.
Paul Bernhagen at left tackle was checked in. Prater still in there at left guard. Corey Hyatt shifted over to center. Drag route, and it's dropped. The speedster Rudd, I think, took his eyes off the football there. He was ready to sprint downfield. And Davenport, Iowa senior, knows he missed an opportunity.
He would have caught that ball. He'd have still been running through the end zone into the street. That's how wide open he was.
One of the many two-sport stars here at Minnesota State. Mavericks in control late. Concord coach Garen Justice told us this week, Jay, that one of these teams is going to experience the wow factor. If you were Minnesota State, they would say, wow, this Mountain Lion team is fast, or vice versa. If you were the Lions, you'd say, wow, this Maverick team is big and strong. It's been the latter. The size, the strength of this Maverick team, the offensive line, the defensive physicality, has been the wow factor in this football game.
That's been exactly it. They've taken the situation, take the speed away from the team. The way you slow a fast team down, you hit them hard, you hit them fast, you make them go lateral. And that's exactly what they did today. And I think that's why they're able to jump on them quickly and often.
It's been a record-setting season for the Mountain Lions this year in the Mountain East Conference. Second year in the conference, just the second year for the conference as a whole. Year of first for Garen Justice, who had an impressive line of coaches that he has learned from through the years. Played for Rich Rodriguez, Trickett, as part of the staff in Florida State with Bobby Bowden and Jumbo Fisher. So you have those heavyweights in coaching. His experience of that West Virginia program, a team that went 11-1 his junior year, finished 5th in the country, knocked off Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. A lot of experience through the years. He was an offensive graduate assistant at Florida State in 07-08. Spent 1 year as a grad assistant at West Virginia as well. So take a look at Bryce Dominic here, the backup linebacker, collision with Jones. Right shoulder.
Yep, that looks like a stinger to me. Had that a few times. Get caught in the right position. He's taller than the running back. And in doing so, as you come down that angle, and you can tell that looks just like a stinger action.
Dominic, a junior from Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Take one more look at the hit.
And it's just shaking it off right now is what has to happen. So you can see right there, catches it, comes up, leads in, and right there. You can just tell, I've had those a few times. They are not fun. Sometimes people get them when you sleep funny. That's the easy way. This is the rough way.
The hard way to get it. I'll take it from the mispositioning of pillows rather than a collision right there. Second down and 10 for Brian Novak. A lot of firepower will be coming back next year for the Mountain Lions. Novak, a sophomore. Calvin Jones, just a junior.
Timeout, Minnesota State, Mankato. Their second of the half.
With the injury, the Mavericks did not have the right personnel on the field. So Minnesota State, I think it's safe to say we can push them into next weekend's championship. They will play for the Division II national crown against Colorado State or West Georgia. The game at 6:30 Eastern over on ESPN3. And this is the group that they're going to try to be a part of. The previous champions, take a look through the years, Northwest Missouri State, they were a dominant program in the 80s and 90s. They got back to the top last year. Kind of interesting to see some of those names. Grand Valley State back in 06 and 05. The Lakers, Valdosta, perennial power, three-time champions in the past decade.
Yeah, and some of those are like you think about basketball and different things.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Second down, 10 after the timeout. Pressure again, and Novak has nowhere to go. He is wrapped up and corralled at the line of scrimmage. Coming through that time was Nick Hubbard, the 6'3" junior out of Brookfield, Wisconsin. Nobody's left here in Mankato if you're wearing the purple and yellow. They're just as loud as when we started. Having some fun on a late Saturday afternoon, early evening. 3rd and 10. Novak on a check down. Jones with the catch, tackled shy of the first down. Marcus Good with the stop.
Let's go, Mavs! Let's go! You see those loyal fans, they're sticking it out. They are here. They see the magic that their team is transpiring right now, and I think it's huge. 4th down play right now, because if they get this stop, they'll be able to pretty much run the clock out.
Through the hands of McGill, Minnesota State, only appropriate. The defense set the tone, and the reserves come away with the stop.
Exactly. This defense came ready to play. They knew the offensive power that this team possessed, and they understood that what they had offensively. They just knew defensively they had to do their job, and their job was to keep them out of the end zone. They did that for the most part. You know, you think about the scores when they did happen, they were pretty much far ahead. And so kudos to this defense. I think they're definitely instrumental in this victory.
Now, talking with the coaches this week, especially the Minnesota State side, when we were chatting with Todd Hoffner, we said, Coach, you know, what's the one area? You know, you look at this Mountain Lion program, what's the one area you feel that you have to contain, the area that really scares you? And he said their punt return game. They can generate so much off that. Well, he never had to worry about it today. They have not punted once tonight.
And that's, I mean, that's offensive dominance right there. I mean, when you think about that, I think about they're in 11 of 13 right now on 3rd downs. 3rd longs you converted. I mean, that just makes it huge.
2nd down give over the right side. 2 more yards for Anthony Lewis.
And we could honestly say the series before, if the ball isn't dropped, they're walking into the end zone again. So, I mean, this offense has been humming nonstop today.
And as you follow the programs at Division II, this Mountain Lion program is one to keep an eye on, because we mentioned a lot of momentum, a year of firsts, 13 wins, one of 2 remaining unbeaten teams in the field, conference champions, and they have a lot of firepower coming back next year, and now they have the experience, and that's something you have to consider as well. We talked about it in the beginning. A lot of this Minnesota State roster have been in the fires of the NCAA tournament before. 2 years ago in the semis, they tasted the disappointment of a semifinal loss the Mountain Lions are experiencing right now.
They sure did, and I think not enough can be said about the acquisition of Ricky Floyd. I really think them getting him to come here has made a big difference, because his passing attack really opened up this offense.
4th and a yard. Lewis moves the chains. And victory formation for Todd Hoffner and the Mavericks inside a minute to go. And again, the Valley City, North Dakota State graduate Hoffner, and all that he has been through, all that his family has been through, his wife Melody, they wanted to stay here at Minnesota State. The family had put their roots in Mankato, and now here he is, guiding this Maverick team into the national championship next Saturday.
It's one of those just sweet redemptions for when you go through tough times and trials, to be able to do this. More importantly, it shows your team, it shows your student athletes what you're made of, the willingness to come back and to do the right things. And I think that is just huge, big win for this team.
So for the first time in school history, Minnesota State moves into the Division II championship next Saturday in Kansas City, Kansas. The 2 coaches coming together. This game never in doubt. The Mavericks jumped out early and often. They led 30-7 at halftime, and they put it in cruise control. Congratulations to Minnesota State. That's the story from Mankato. For Jay Taylor, I'm Sean Kinney saying so long from Mankato, where your final score is Mankato and Minnesota State 47 Concord 13. To watch this game on replay as well as other games on our family of ESPN networks, log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Good night from Mankato.